Michael. Hello. Oh, I got an itchy thing here. Oh, no good. Okay. Little buglitude. Must have bit me. Okay. So I showed you the lathe. Home-built lathe. I'm sure it's going to run okay. It's fine. Just a challenge. This is the hell of it. Now, if I had my way with lots of earth currency. Oh, I would get probably a 30-inch lathe by 100 inches long, made actually out of solid steel bars and none of this hollow thinking stuff. Anyway, that's a fantasy. I don't want to make a milling machine. Nothing but solid bearings. Anyway, whatever. Keeps me out of trouble. And I'm trouble. I am trouble. Wow, I've got a big mouth. Yeah, you're too. Anyway, what did somebody talk about piezoelectric effect? Wanted me to go into details on this? Actually, if you search out crystallography, that's that piezoelectric effect. Basically, it's just a movement of crystalline lattices and crystal structures being pushed and squeezed and squashed and stomped on. Oddly, it's interesting to note that you get that in quartz. That's why they use quartz. Crystals in radio transmitters and receivers. Used to be a handbook on how to grind your own crystals without tears for certain frequencies in the kilohertz and megacycle ranges. Crystal grinding without tears. Oh my God, I look god awful in that one. Jesus. Oh well. Let's see what's going on with this ridiculous clown look. Hi, I'm a clown. Sure like the one with those baboon eyes. Anyway, so Jesus. I don't know. I really don't know the answer. So to what that looks like here, but god awful anyway. Mounting iPad. Anyway, yeah, crystalline layers, crystal lattices. Predominant in metals as well, certain metals. Quartz. The Titanate family, of Barium Titanate, Lead Arc Titanate, different formulations. You can prove it to yourself. If you've got a couple of good crystal rocks and rub them together in the dark, you'll see them glow. Also rub them together close to a radio set, used in also Piezo lighters. If you study up on Aztec pre-sonar technology of submarines, you find some cool information on that too. Also, piezoelectricity, if resonated properly, will produce a lot of electrical energy, by the way. So much so you can knock you right across the room. As I found out with my barium titanate cylinders, putting them in the freezer because freezing shrinks the whole crystalline layer matrices. Shrinking, it builds up capacitance. or capacity abilities. And well, you short it up, makes a good bang. That's a barium titanate material that I played with. Let's see. Okay, I'm kind of wandering around in circles here with you, but it was a request about piezo electric effect. Piezo paper. You can apply electricity to piezo as well and get it to make sound. Electrical current goes in, and being ferromagnetic properties and piezoelectric effect, you can get all kinds of interesting stuff. It's very electrically active in both giving and taking it. There's other things that give off light in the dark and radio waves, like mercury. Take mercury and shake it in a bottle with 2 electrodes in it. You'll find out some cool information there. Just use a simple radio receiver. Tune it to broadcast band, dead area on the broadcast band, and you'll hear it. Many applications of piezoelectrical materials. I found it useful in some of my energy devices. We'll say alternative energy. Energy is never free. It's just kind of a weird saying that came out. Might hurt some people. But however, I made, it takes energy to build these things and make them. So my device I took to Japan and Germany was simply barium titanate. It can be a cylinder, it can be also a square block or a round disc. I got it to resonate with sub wafers of material that was quartz with active material that was put on these 50 or so, 60 wafers. I actually didn't do that. I had it outsourced to Surac and to Goodfellas. And for my clients that wanted these things. Japan and Germany. Also, you can create levitation and weird effects with it. If you take a barium block or cylinder or whatever it is that has electrodes already in it, it's manufactured that way, especially the Navy likes to manufacture that with certain doping agents to enhance it or increase its frequency or lower its frequency. Because the Navy likes to do that kind of thing. Listen for submarines. Beep, beep, beep. So in the big sonar heads, they had multiple different formulations of barium titanate cylinders to give you a broad range of sounds. Some sensitive, some not sensitive. And all this was displayed on a screen. Sonar screen or sonar scope, if you want to call it that. Kind of applicable to Aztec, but this is an improvement. Took apart a sonar head off HMCS Columbia. I didn't find any barium titanate in there, but there's a lot of wafers. There's all wedge-shaped wafers in the sonar head, a big thing. I found also in the sonar room certain wafers were quite active. They were in a drawer called classified. Strange, you know how Navy people are and Army people, everything's classified. But anyway, those were very helpful in making my power units. I got all the documentation somewhere, I think. But back to the principles of this, piezo energy is also very faint in metals in the earth, even in your biochemistry. So anyway, back to what I was building, I used cylinders and blocks. I mean, it's a solid piece that's been made professionally. Usually it's silver plated and wrapped with, sometimes with fiberglass. It's spun around the cylinder or to give it an extra boost. A lot of tension there, a lot of electrical energy. Remember I said fiberglass, it also resonates sort of with crystalline structures. Or glass winding, actually. And glass is piezo in some respects if you know how to use it. So these cylinders and blocks and things are very, very well made. Or because your whole ship depends on if a submarine's going to blow you up or not. I don't know why Io class didn't have sonar rooms, but destroyers did. I mean, I was on 4 destroyers and they all have unique sonar rooms. Remember, one was called Jezebel. They had upgrades in the 80s. And later on, really fancy stuff nowadays, of course. The main topic is piezoelectric. So with these cylinders and that, I managed to resonate them where they would accumulate the energy would accumulate like a capacitor as well as produce more resonance into the whole system. So, but if you take one of these and put it on, to get a metal plate, looking like a pie plate, thin, aluminium. Put it on a carpet, okay? Put your heavy cylinder or block or whatever is onto that plate. Take a microphone, feed it into a high power amp where you get feedback. Remember your output, instead of a speaker, you're using barium titanate cylinders or other things similar to barium titanate. You get feedback between the two, you get a massive amount of energy. And you're using up a lot of energy as well doing that. So you actually get things levitating, floating around a little bit, or moving on their own all the way out, and it will throw the voice out or the sound out into another area. I used a Crown amplifier, model 600, 1972, grounded bridge type, which was used by DREP, Defense Establishment Pacific. It was theirs. I had a lot of their gear that wound up in surplus. A very heavy thing. And it was good for, how many watts? 2,500 watts at 0 to 110 volts. You could talk in the microphone and light a light bulb if you wanted to do that. It'd be modulated down. But with a feedback system with the barium cylinders, which were measured at Kyoto Institute of Technology by Mr. Ojiwa, as the power cells were tested out and x-rayed and all that, of course, to 18.5 kilohertz. So they did a lot of testing in Japan of the things I built for them. Yeah, I said Mercury, didn't I? I wonder if gallium is that electrically active yet. Look, I'm sure it is, though. But you didn't know about Mercury. You just need a Mercury switch, I don't know, thermostat or something. Or a little bottle of it, and buy it on eBay or something, and stick a couple of electrodes into it and shake it around. And buy a radio receiver, you can hear it or see it in the dark. When I did, let's see, for CTV News, Canadian Television Network, a demonstration of the foam piece that floated up to the ceiling and floated down, the aluminium foil that kind of went, or metal or whatever it was, went kind of weird. That was broadcast out on NewsHour by Tony Parsons. And when that happened, there was a lot of people interested in talking to me, which had to go through Channel 8 that carries CTV News. These people would show up and talk to me for a while. And one was an airline pilot who was talking about counter-rotating mercury that was put into toroid halves where the mercury would spin around and counterclockwise. That it had levitation properties, but I don't know. I don't like playing with harmful things like mercury or other weird chemicals, or metals. But I had it when I had the mercury contained in a container, and it was interesting to observe what it would do. Also, there's these beautiful tubes called Mercury Arc Rectifiers that glow, nice glow. They're used to rectify alternating current. Industrial ones are huge. The ones that I handled had 10 pounds of mercury, I believe. 8 to 10 pounds of mercury in them. Big glass tubes with big arms sticking out. I was helping Carol Gaddison move out of Gaddison Adnac Salvage on Alexander Street, Vancouver, British Columbia. An old house with a lot of steel plate on the flooring to hold the weight. And those were a lot of long forgotten things were in that place, which I did get, which I did foolishly sell off. And some of it's so rare nobody knows what they are. I got pictures of it and I showed them to people, they don't know what it is. I showed Gary Prock, curator of HMCS Haida, certain pictures, but he didn't know what they were. They were submarine detectors. Row of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 knobs, a big speaker in the middle. Canadian Navy. That thing was awesome. That's where I used some of the Piezo materials in it, detecting any kind of vibration. And it did. When I bought them from Rendell Perry Electronics on 4th Avenue a long time ago, they were in his back room, and he said, these things are still classified. And I said, oh, well, folks, that's good. Nice to know. They sold them to me. I think I bought 4 of them. All of them, actually, because they're so unique and different. And I got rid of them like an idiot. Damn it, Jim. Wow. I don't know if there's any other ones in existence. I don't know. It's time for me to act silly. I kind of explained the basics of Piezo electric. If you want to know more, go to dtic.mil. Type in Piezo properties or Piezo electric. I got some pretty good articles. I lambasted this old Englishman, John J. Joyce Searle. He was a real nasty little crook. I don't know why people glorify him. He didn't discover anything. He just had some junk and stole patents, stole electricity, and got people to film saucer cutout things from thin wires. You can read all about them. You just got to do your research on these quacks. Come on. And there was a whole bunch of these idiots that claimed free energy and flying saucers, and it makes it bad for real people that are doing real stuff. Come on. I don't want to even hear their names. There was no said, okay, Coral Castle was simple. I don't know if he claimed anything, but he did simply have a bloody massive come along with poles that he could lift those blocks with. There's nothing wrong with lifting something. It's done all the time. Come on. Ancient Egyptians did it. As well as hell, I've moved things that weighed several tons. The chain block and these people make up these stories and go on and beat the same old bloody drum. And it becomes, to some people, a reality, where in fact it's just a bunch of nonsense. I don't know where you get your ideas from, but pretty pathetic, I think. And I forget the names of a lot of these idiots, but Dennis Lee was one of the biggest ones. He wound up in jail as well as Searle and others. They always wind up in jail because they defraud people of money. Come on, get real. Okay, I made things and I never defrauded anybody. I always claimed exactly what I claimed. And I underclaimed it. I said, I also warned them, this might not even work. I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to give me a couple $100,000 to do it, that's okay. I don't care. I know one way or the other. My first client was Ria Trade Group, businessman out of Vancouver, or actually around the world. It's called Ria Trade. Carl David Anderson, who was telling me, oh, somebody was always doing this free energy thing, but it never happens. Yeah, I know all about it. It's fraud. So how can I help you? I don't even look at it. If you wanted me to take a look at it, I said, no. Then they said, can you make something? I can, but it's not going to be what's claimed. It's probably going to be milliamp and less than a volt, maybe millivolts, but I can make it with no moving parts. It's up to you. I could care less. And they said, oh, well, can you do it? Yes, I could do it. It was my Barium Titanate stuff. I made a big box like that with 8 cylinders in a circle in it, with a device that clicked on each cylinder, discharged the energy. They liked it. And we were waiting for China to come over and invest in it, but they never did. So that went on to Richard Brewer and many other clients I had. I built these things for, and we could never really get secondary funding. They gave me a lot of money to build them. I built them, of course. And they were happy with them, and just simply couldn't get major funding. It's like going on now still, kind of thing. Anyway, how I'm recording. This is my recording, Doctor. 27 minutes. It's going to be another long, boring video. Hi! Hi, Doctor. I'll spread my jobs for you. Here I go on a rant again. Silly one. But that's what I've always been, a silly nut. I've been doing this ever since I was born. I think I look kind of good now, don't I? Hi, doctor. So, talking about doctors. Well, anyway, I hope that helps with the Piezo story. Somebody else on Will's fan page mentioned doctors and how frustrated they are because Evanda's health was talking about, oh yeah, blah, 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 let's help everybody, and we've got a big team, and somebody was flying, oh, I've got to wait weeks, have to go to an emergency all the time to get anything done, and all this stuff for an appointment. I mean, this town is full of doctors. Next door are doctors. Redwood Clinic, Howard Memorial Hospital. A lot of doctors. I got a good lady doctor. She's a very nice lady. But, I don't know. And virtual doctors. Even a doctor showed up at the apartment. But This is all going back a couple of years. And I lived with a medical doctor in Austria with her husband, Peter Kokoschnik. She was Dr. Medical Margarita Kokoschnik. A real doctor, not some quack. Damn it, Jim. A real doctor who cared a lot about things. A very intelligent doctor too, so these kind of doctors are rare. I met a good doc in Aptos. Stayed at his home babysitting his cat with Ian. That was in the early 90s. And then just a couple of years ago I met up with him again, and he went out we went out for lunch with the Camino family who have grown up. Dr. Daniel Beelan. Then I have a number of fans who are doctors. Abram Rodriguez, Minnesota, supposedly is going to open up a practice in California. But he was spilled the beans on all the malpractice stuff that was going on in Minnesota and got chastised for that. In Canada, I had a lady doctor. She was good. Had it for a long time. And Dr. Murray Allen and Dr. Warner. And they were a pretty good doctor. They actually make house calls, for peace sake. What was the old original doctor when I was a baby? It was Dr. Matthews, who came and make a house call, had scarlet fever, it was quarantined, the whole house. And come in this trusty doctor bag, the old traditional thing with all the medical stuff. Stay a while, have cookies and go. Now it's all rapid. Rapid. I don't say any really good old doctors around still. Could be young or old, I don't know. Showing off my trusty lovely legs. Thinking out the lathe, and it's sexy legs. Good Lord. Talk about nuts. Me, I'm nuts. I guess it's therapeutic for me doing these ridiculous videos. It's a chance for me to chat with the outside world in a way that normally I'm quite reclusive, always have been. Even with the artificial resuscite in the destroyers, I just did my work, and Wes Roots, the main project manager, just said, never bother John. He takes care of all the electronics as well as the artillery and stuff on the Navy ships. He did offer me a partnership with him to be a consultant on the 3-inch 50s and 3-inch 70s and other artillery pieces. However, I turned him down because I like my reclusivity. I turned down a potential Pentagon offer sent to me by Timmy Ventura. I declined, flattered, but I like my privacy. I'm sure they wouldn't want me running around in their labs doing, "Hi, doctor!" I probably would. "Hi, doctor!" I get dressed up as Carla. I know I would. And George Hathaway offered me a position in Toronto, Canada, funded by Prince Hans Adam Liechtenstein. I respectfully declined because that means taking me out of my fantasy world and Navy ships and other crazy things and wild hot sex. And my trusty butt plug collection. Never mind that. Okay, forget it. Okay, dokie. Yes, I did buy them on eBay, and I did get a notification to give feedback on it. Help millions of others. I got the email. I saved it. I took a screenshot of it. I think I posted it on Funbook. It's there somewhere in those photos of mine. I got one actually on iPad. So the ugly witch of Willis, me. Hi. Now just picture this. Picture this in your mind, since I love animals, birds and things, and ravens and squirrels and crows and man, they had a party yesterday with the walnut butter. Even a vulture came down to have fun in the whole gang too. Although the ravens chased the vulture away. But anyway, me, the ugly witch of Willis, with a raven on my shoulder. And they'd be on my head. Walking around Willis. Hi. Do you know any good chop spreaders around? Yeah. Chop spreaders. I love it. The Ugly Witch of Willis is somewhere. I still say it's a hell of a good, funny movie. Hello. Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. This is Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. Mr. Wolf. It is 32 minutes. Mr. Wolf, report to the bridges immediately. You are... Mr. Wolf, thank you for coming to the bridge. I must admit, there's no more nonsense in 10 forward. It's not our policy to fluctuate and fluctuating around 10 forward while under the tables, having wild procreation activity under the tables when Guinan is very busy trying to serve her customers. We can't have this, Mr. Wolf. And I'd love to see who you had a tangle with. Oh, it was, yes, Captain. It was Carla P. Knipson's Rothschild's Klingon Princess III. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Where is that person? I don't know, Captain. Hi, I'm here. Hi, Mr. Worf. Yeah, it was fun. Want to do it in the torpedo room? Or in a shuttlecraft? Oh, Mr. Worf, what are you doing? You're trying to beam me out of here? Mr. Worf, hang on. Mr. Worf. Okay. Oh, Mr. Worf, what are you doing behind my chair? I want you, baby. Oh, Mr. Worf, let's go. Come on, honey. Let us go and romp around. Where'd you go? Oh, Mr. Worf, what are you doing? I got my bat lift. That's my bat lift. My version of one of these. Ow! Ow! I got stuck on my locks.
Ooh, Mr. Worf. This is Klingon. This is Klingon.
Okay, let's try that again.
This is Klingon Princess Carla Pekin. This is Rothschild III's backlift. The ugly widget Willis has got a specialty thing here. We all know what this looks like, don't we? Oh my goodness. It's actually what you call a back buddy. You got a back buddy. It's for scratching your back. And plus other things when nobody's looking.
Righto. Okay. Well, I've been transmitting this garbage now for 36 minutes, and I should get going. I should get going, I tell you. Got some things to do before I close up shop. So, I have 2 videos to upload tonight. Maybe 3 if I got time. And I don't know the answer. But insanity does have its privileges in the entertainment industry. Let's see how I can look here. I'll wait until summer. I got my little skirt on beside these old things. Oh, I look like a what?